podcast that you're listening to is being presented to you in cooperation with the SJ Network. If you're a person who'd like to appear on a podcast, contact Stephen Joyner at s-j-network.com. Let's get on with the show.
On today's episode of Too Many Podcasts, it's Volume 2 of the Wisdom Files.
You'll be hearing a collection of conversations from female speakers on the free Wisdom app, with Jim the podcast Sherpa.
The most inspiring thing that I've learned from the Wisdom app is, whatever you give, be sure to give 100%.
Of course, unless you're donating blood.
Attention, rebels of the Sherpalution. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. We would like to give you a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial, simply by heading to www.audibletrial.com/Sherpa. There are over 180,000 titles of audiobooks and podcasts, including this one, to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. And now, the one and only Mr. Bruce will lead you into the Sherpa Chalet. As a reminder, the choices for our breakfast specials consist of barbecued snails, forked tongues, and eating somewhere else.
Welcome to Too Many Podcasts, the podcast about podcasts. Now, podcasting from the Sherpa Chalet on Mount Podcastia, here's your host, Jim, the podcast Sherpa.
Hello there, rebels of the Sherpalution. Welcome to Too Many Podcasts. It is the podcast about podcasts and so much more. I'm trying to do emphasis on different words this time. I don't know why, but it sounds fun. Anyway, I'm Jim the Podcast Sherpa, your guide for all these podcasts in Mount Podcastia. Thank you so much for joining me. A few weeks ago, I did an episode featuring some speakers from the Wisdom app, and they were all guys. And you know what? There are some amazing women that give these inspirational talks. So I figured we got to do some more from the Wisdom Files, and it's ladies' night. And the feeling's right. And you are here at the right place here, visiting with me at the Sherpa Chalet. 3 speakers, just like last time. Loyce Hampson, Sonja from Real Talk Radio, and Felicia K. What all 3 of these people say are just fantastic and definitely a good reason why you want to check out the absolutely free Wisdom app if you want a little bit of inspiration. So without any further ado, let's have a listen to my first chat with Sonja from Real Talk Radio.
Hello there.
Hello there. I thought I better come on, Wow. We need some folks to come on. Oh, here we go. Okay.
There we go. Somebody's joined us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hi. Hello. Yes, it's me with the extra L. That's nice. You remembered that. That's great. Yeah. S is for Sonja too. So.
Right. I remember.
You remembered that. How nice.
Yes, I did.
Well,
I had a couple of people talk to me last week, so.
That's funny. That's great. So, yes, I didn't really have anything specific. Did you have a topic tonight? Something?
Yeah, they're just, I think if people just want to pop on and say hello, or if they want to talk about podcasts or anything else too. I mean, you can deviate from the topic. It's all right. You get 10 minutes to talk, so.
That is wonderful. I love that. So, yes, and I love your idea here. It's like it's a platform for people who love podcasting, to kind of have just talk about whatever they like. And I guess for me, I don't know what I shared last time, but I think, I remember. I was telling you a little bit about what I podcast about, but
right.
Yes, but I have always had a passion for radio. And I remember when I was little, I, was one of those with my little tape recorder, just driving everybody crazy, putting the mic, a little microphone up in their face, like wanting to interview. Oh, I did. I mean, I thought that was great fun. And then I did actually go into broadcasting. I went,
Really?
I really did. Yes. Now, this was back in the 90s, so we're way back. But I went to a school called Specs Howard in Michigan. And it was really great and took the course. And when I got out of school, I worked at a station called WWJ in Detroit, actually.
Cool.
I,
What
I
was the
did
format?
it was traffic and weather.
Okay.
Traffic and weather. So that was really quite, and actually was pretty awesome because I got that job right out of school. So that was really exciting to get to do that. And it was really a growing time for me. But yeah, I got to do the traffic on there and I really loved it. And I love radio. I had a great time. But what I did not like is I had to work a split shift. I don't know if you've worked those where I had to come and do the morning drive and then the afternoon drive.
Oh,
And that was rough. Yeah, that
oh,
was
sure.
really rough. Yeah, because I felt like I spent my whole day driving in rush hour traffic, you know. Um, but there were things about it that were really tough, but I wouldn't trade it for a life experience. It was really great to get to do it, but kind of high stress when I think back on it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I,
So
I,
and then
I guess if the
yes.
traffic was bad too.
Yeah, this was, yes, it was. Yeah, and the funny thing is, you notice my name with the Mills there, right?
Mhm.
And they did give me that extra L, but my last name is actually Miliaka, not Mills.
Okay.
But I picked that because when I did the traffic, now again back in the 90s, they didn't want me to use my name, which was Sonia Miliaka. They thought that was weird. And so they
Right.
want they said pick a name. They picked a name for me and they said you're going to be Sonia Snow. And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm begging you. No. I don't want to I'm begging you, please don't do that to me." And so they said, "Well, you have to come up with a name then because, we don't like your name." Yeah. So I came up with Corey Mills. And so I kept the Mills part, but Corey Mills was my on air name back in the 90s on WWJ.
Could you do a little bit of a traffic update, like what you used to do?
Well, I would just say, gosh, on I-75 at whatever, we've got a 2-car pileup. There's EMS in the right lane. Avoid the area, And the funny thing, we actually sat in a room with police scanners going off and the phone ringing. It was utter chaos, but it was wild. I mean, like, it was just crazy because we'd be listening to the police scanners, which would say there's an accident, and then you'd flip the switch and go on air, just like within seconds of hearing it. So I had to it was crazy. Yeah, it was or you'd have people just yelling out in the room. I just got a phone call and you just wrote it down on these little pieces of paper and put them in front of you and hit the mic. And yeah, it was kind of wild.
Yeah,
And
it kind of it's got to be like a fun rush, though. I guess.
it was, yeah, totally. Like once I got the hang of it, it was a fun rush because you had to keep up, and there could be people just yelling all across the room, and you're just trying to write it down as fast as you can and throw the mic and off you, and you hope for the best. Yeah, those. It's a job for youth. I don't think I could. I couldn't handle it now, but yeah, it was great. That was
I,
great. So
I
there
know
you
on one of
go.
the on one of the local rock stations, whenever there's a car on fire, they call it a barbecue. It's like, oh no.
Oh, that's as long as nobody's getting hurt. But oh, that's
Yeah,
fun. A garbage, right? Yep, that's great. I love it.
and people truly haven't visited Long Island until they're sitting on the Long Island Expressway in traffic. So,
I bet. Oh my, yeah, you're getting the whole experience. I bet. Yeah. Well, now back in the '90s, let's see. I don't know what it's like now, but Detroit roads were definitely scary. If I remember, to drive, they were pretty challenging. But yeah. Anyway, yes, that's my story of being a traffic reporter, and thank you for giving me a place to share that. Very
yeah.
nice.
We've got we got a crew in here now. Because let everybody know the name of your podcast, so if people want to check you out.
Thank you. Yes, and hello, everyone. I am Sonja, but my podcast is S. Mills's Show. And I'm pretty much on iTunes and, iHeartRadio, Spotify. And I just kind of share my different insights and just experiences in life, my journey through life, and also my faith walk. So, yes, anytime you might want to check that out, hopefully it would be a blessing to you. And thank you so much, Jim, for
Yeah, it was
being
nice
on
chatting with
today.
you again, Sonia.
Thank
I
you
got a
so
repeat
much.
visitor.
I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
hope
very
you
much.
have a great show. I'll be hanging out here listening. So, and thanks to everybody who.
Oh, there were 10 minutes right now. Sonia, thank you so much. Sonia got to talk last week too, and we got to get to know a little bit about her and her podcast, and it was a lot of fun.
And next we got one coming up from Felicia K, otherwise known as Zumba Queen. She doesn't have a podcast, but she's has some amazing talks on wisdom. Definitely worth checking out. And here she is right now, Felicia K.
Dun, 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 dun,
Well,
dun.
since you called
Hello.
my name, I thought I'd just say hi, Jim.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just chilling, man. Just chilling. You know.
I
How are
like your description
you?
on your
You
profile. Good.
I don't even know what it says anymore. What does it say?
Says, I love the gift of story, teaching Zumba, writing poetry, and learning. I have found the key to myself through spiritual growth. Be love, be joy, and be you. I
Hey,
like
that's
that.
you know what? There's power in that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for reminding me of what I wrote about myself. That's a pretty nice description of
I'm
me.
glad I can help.
Because I'm glad I can help. But for the last, I talked earlier for a couple of hours on the subject of just resting and just kind of walking your mind back to your body and just sitting on your throne called you about just sitting still and being still and finding that rest that we need so that we can rejuvenate and reboot and get ourselves, going again,
Hmm.
because sometimes you just need a break. You need a break from things
Absolutely.
being the same. And not that things are the same every day. Just sometimes you just need a break, and you got to recognize your cues that come to you so that you can break before you break down. So, in terms of, and that could be a cold, that could be a flu, that could be anything, or it can just be mental exhaustion and stuff. And so we have got to know within ourselves how to not override um, our own health warnings, our own health callings, or maybe it's just a call to, hey, why don't you sit down in your room and why don't you just chill for a moment? You ain't got to prove anything. You ain't got to be nothing but yourself. Why don't you relax? And when you get up and you get out with people again and you're back at work, then, you pick up where you left off, So, we just talked a while and a lot of people got on and just shared their different ideas about what rest means to them and how important that is, and how when a person doesn't rest, it does not allow for that creative upload to come, So just being unplugged, what can come from being unplugged?
What relaxes you, Felicia?
Dancing, writing, just I don't know. I took 2 drives while I was off, and just kind of just getting on the freeway. And I like being in motion, because a lot of things come to me. I'm inspired as I'm moving, but I also learned this week that I'm inspired as I am just sitting and just sitting. It'll come to me as well. I've been working since I was 14. I'm 58 years old, and except for the requisite breaks of a few vacations and having children, it's just been a steady flow of work and just, taking care of business. And also I have my fun when I'm teaching Zumba and when I'm doing the dancing, and I love learning new dances like R&B line dancing, and I just like movement. And so sometimes I need to even unplug from that and just sit and regenerate. So, you know, those are the things that float my boat. And I'm just learning. I'm just learning. Life is to be explored, and I'm steadily learning about myself. And I think that that's the whole goal. Isn't that the whole thing, is to learn and enjoy your life and
Sure.
and to let go, you know?
Absolutely.
Let go of all these identifications with things and places and people and previous stories and experience, and detached. You know, it's okay to come out of traffic for a minute, sit on a
Yeah,
bench.
we're around the same age, Felicia, and
Hmm.
I've noticed that, like, in, like, especially in the last couple of years, it's like there's always something to do.
Correct, right? Always something to do, And now, mind you, I work differently. The older I get, I work differently, you know. And I try not to use, more than a certain percentage on,
Okay.
on other people's tasks. I'm trying to understand the power of personal loyalty, because sometimes all you got is open contracts that belong to other people, but are you keeping your contract with yourself? Are you, or do you have your project open as well? Do you have what you love to do and what you want to explore? Are you leaning more towards yourself in this project?
Well,
Especially, we help people all the time. I'm in the business of service, and it's been a lifetime of service and servicing the other. And I've learned so much about myself through that. But sometimes it's just nice to kind of sit back and work on some things that you would like to get finished and done. And sometimes you got to move out of traffic. You got to take your take your yes back and plug in a no. And it's not a no forever, but it's just a no for now.
That's right.
And I've learned from so many of the people that are on the app that, whenever you take a break, your trust, everything that's for you is for you. It's an escrow. So as soon as you start to go again, then there it is. You're not going to miss anything. There's no fear of missing out. you know, I was telling my brother tells me, say, hey, we just got a raise. I was like, really? He says, they've been working on this. I'm like, okay, cool. That's nice. You know, he says, that's nice. I'm like, hey, I wasn't expecting one. So that's cool. you know, I said, no matter what, I'm always taken care of. No matter what, things always work out for me. You know, I said, I put good in the pot. I cook it, I stir it. I bring joy to everything that I'm doing. You know, so everything is gonna be okay. You know,
Just enjoy the day at a time, right?
exactly. It's just like I'm breathing, man. I'm just like, hey, I woke up. All right, I breathe. I am breathing. I'm able to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm able to be in motion without the aid of anything. Come on now. I woke up. So everything else is this gravy. I heard you talking to my sister Loyce earlier.
Uh,
That was my sister. I heard her talking to you earlier. When I was surprised to see you still on here, Jim.
yeah, we're going to start up in like probably in a couple of minutes.
So, but
But yeah, I feel like I've come full circle tonight.
yeah, I love this platform. I love this platform because it gives us an opportunity to express ourselves in this
Sure.
moment. And people, there's such beautiful souls in the world. And I get a chance to experience this when I come on this app. It just lets you know that, good, there's a lot of good in the world. So
Yeah.
keep your head up. There's a lot of good in the world. Let us share that wisdom with one another.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that it's nice that when we get folks on here to talk, that it's positive. Everybody's building up. Nobody's tearing down.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I mean, because I don't think anybody, there's enough of that outside. We don't
Right.
need that in our spaces. But 4, 3, 2, 1, bye, Jim.
Felicia, thank you so much.
And finally, my third speaker is a lady named Loyce Hampson. And she is a life coach, and she was just so much fun to talk to. Sometimes when you go on the Wisdom app and it's really quiet and you're hoping to get somebody to converse with you about something, and Loyce came to the rescue for this one, you could definitely tell. And just so much life and energy in this lady, and she was so much fun to get to know. It was the first time that we had spoken, and very inspirational stuff. She's a really great lady. I think you're going to like this chat even more. It's even a little bit longer than the usual 10 minutes because after we did 10 minutes, she came back on and we did 10 minutes more. So how do you like that? And right after my chat with Loyce, we will be heading into Sherpa Samples. So have a listen.
Hello there.
Hi, Jim. You're so funny. I had to come up here because you're like, somebody. Hello. You might say, is this mic is on? I expected you to say that next.
I always feel like Larry King. Hello, Cleveland. Are you there?
Okay. Hey, that's better than something I heard today. Hey, if you hear me, type this in. If you hear me, type this in. And I'm thinking, this is supposed to be a training. This is supposed to be a typing test.
I'm sorry. But I thought it was funny when you were doing it. I had to say something to you, but I was in a class earlier and they kept saying, if you just tapped it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is irritating. So I got out of the class and I know I need to go listen to that class. And that's why I've got it on tape. So I could tune out and tune in because that was, but no, you were funny just now. I was like, I got to go on here because he is too funny. So you got to tell me what you're all about because I've never heard you, and I've never run into you, cross you.
Yeah, I thought you were in here once before. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Did you change your picture?
Actually, I don't have a picture on there.
That's what I'm saying. If you change your picture, I don't know, but I don't know. I have no idea. Your name sounds familiar, Jim the podcast, but I don't do a podcast, so I can't remember ever talking to you.
Okay, you are a life coach.
Yes.
How does one become a life coach? Do you have to take tests? Do you have to? How does that work? Tell me how that works.
There are different ways into the field of life coaching. My particular way I went into it is I was a marriage and family therapist before I retired. And when I got sick, I retired because I was sick. And when I brought myself back to health with no help from the doctors and the other people that I thought I could depend on, I learned so many different things about so many different areas. To come out of retirement and go back to being a marriage and family therapist seems too limited for me because they don't get the benefit of all the other things that I learned on this journey to health. So, because I already had the skills and already had the knowledge, life coaching is kind of, I don't hate to say that, but kind of a step down from marriage and family therapy, but it's more fulfilling to me because I get to talk about all the areas of human development, not just the psychological part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I know other people who have been in the field for so long, they garner enough expertise where they go take a class and they get certified. And some people just put on the tag and say, I'm a life coach because I'm smart enough to be one. And some people, look, you don't have to have credentials to be a life coach. You just got to have an area of expertise that you're able to help people grow from.
Now, when you have a lot of different people coming to you that need a life coach, is there a recurring theme that you have to kind of reinforce with them?
Yes, they are enough. That's why I put that on my thing. Most everybody I've ever dealt with in therapy or in any other facet, they have the subconscious belief that who they are is not enough. And that's from kids to drug addicts to men in prison to people on probation, parole. I've worked in all the areas, all the different age categories, all different races, all different sexes, all different sexual preferences, and everybody. A central theme that runs through it, if I were to pick a central theme, would be I am not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough. I'm too fat. It's not enoughness. It's the not enoughness syndrome. And the thing is, what's so ironic about it is when we were born, we were enough. When we were going through the hell we were going through, we were enough. When we're here right now, we're enough, and we're going to be enough for tomorrow. We've always been enough. But if we don't know that that's what's in us, then we can't rise above it.
Sure.
And a lot of people don't realize that that's what that not enoughness. They're trying to fill that void, and they run into all different, to crime, to drug addiction, to psychological problems, trying to become enough.
Is there something that people should do daily to remind themselves that they are enough?
Man, I told you, I do stuff. I do so-called stuff. I get up in the morning, and first thing I do when I see my face in the mirror, I give myself a high five. I made it to the next day. Okay. And I say that funny and all that facetiously and stuff. But if you really think about a high five, when you're on a team, you give high fives when you win the game. Hey man, yeah, it was a good game. High five. And then when you lose, hey man, I get better luck next time. High five. So regardless to what my day entails or whatever, I give myself a high five for getting up to greet today and for being able to walk to the bathroom, because there was a time when I couldn't walk to the bathroom. It was crawling because I done died 3 times and come back. I done had 3 strokes and come back. So it's about knowing who you are and knowing that you're enough. And the thing is, you got to validate yourself. You can't wait for people to validate you. If you let people validate you when they feel kind of funky in a way, they ain't going to validate you. And then you're going to be missing that dopamine rush from them saying how good you are. But if you start telling yourself that you're enough and that you're good enough and that you're pretty enough and strong enough and got enough of this, enough of whatever it is, then you don't have to get validated by anybody else, and then you can stand in your wholeness.
Now, do you think that, like, in like the times of today, where you have a lot of social media, where there's a lot of cyberbullying, and there are things about body image and stuff like that, you think that's making it worse than maybe from like 10 or 15 years ago?
It's not any worse than it ever been. I'm gonna be real, because I've been here before the cyber system came. Okay. And all that shit was going on then. Just look at the commercials from the 1950s. If you smoke this cigarette, you get this. You have this car, you get this. You drink that, you get this. If you look like this, you get that. It's been going on since the dawn of man. Okay, now we just get to see it in live, live in color, because we have this medium where everybody can see everything going on in these cameras and stuff. And it's a good thing that it's coming up, because it's bringing everybody to the revelation that, hey, this is not okay. And it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to say this is going on. When I was in school, yeah, you got bullied. You got bullied at school, and then you got home and got bullied because you got bullied. You know? Because I was told,
Sure.
they're going to bully you at school. You run home one more time, I'm going to whoop your ass. You better turn around and fight. Okay? So it's still the same. It's the same stuff, different day. And it's always going to be the same stuff, different day, until we rise above it as individuals. And then as we rise above it as individuals, we rise above it as a community.
I like that. You know, and that sounds like you make it sound like it's something that's doable. And I guess people forget that.
It is doable. It's just that simple. One thing, wait, look like this. I used to care about everybody else's opinions until I tried to pay my rent with their opinions. Okay. And if you think about it like that, and you think they say this, they said, who the fuck are they? They don't pay your bills. They ain't responsible for putting food in your mouth. So why are you listening to them? Everybody got an opinion, just like an asshole, and shit comes out. Okay? So that's my view. Okay, I don't know nobody else's view. So I recognize that my opinion about me and my opinion about what I can do and where I can go and who I can be, that's mine. Can't nobody tell me that. And when people turn around and start looking at themselves and seeing the beauty that's within, oh my Jesus, yes, I believe this is doable. I know this is doable. I'm watching this stuff happen live and living color on this app, where people are coming to revelations about who they really are, and then begin to stand in their power and doing shows and starting podcasts and all kinds of stuff I've watched the people do over the past 4 or 5 months. Just by being empowered by people, by mentors talking to each other and mentors talking to whoever's in the room, or just getting up here and telling your story. Man, I listened to y'all stories. Yeah, I was learning about podcasts listening to you a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, ooh, maybe I want to do a podcast. But I haven't look, I do everything on inspiration. So I ain't not going to assign that to me yet. Okay. Because right now, I'm doing whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Okay. But I know I'm coming back out of retirement, because I've already got that unction that I have to do that. But at this time, I'm flowing. And the thing is, if people just pay attention to who they are instead of what everybody else is saying they should be, because then they'll get to be able to say, oh
no. He's coming back.
I
Welcome
didn't
back.
even see it go off. No, because people figure out who they are on the inside, and they'll realize that they are more powerful than they ever known. But most people, when that mask they wear for the world starts cracking, they get scared because they want people to see all the stuff that they're ashamed of. But it's all the stuff that they're ashamed of that gives them their superpower. And that's what I figured out because I had a lot to be ashamed of, okay, by the world standards, but all that shit that I was buried under caused me to grow. And that's what that shit is there for our growth. It's fertilizer. Okay? So that's
very
how I
true.
roll. That's how I roll, though. You know, using shit as
I think
fertilizer. That's what it's for. Because we gonna go through it. Same shit, different day sometimes. But I don't roll with the same shit, different day. If it's some shit this day, that shit gonna end this day. Tomorrow's gonna be some new shit a different day. Okay? Because the shit gonna come. You know, you just gotta know how to use it.
You see, now I have to kind of take up a bone of contention with you, Loyce, because I would think you would make a wonderful podcast host with even just like a 5-minute little inspirational thing. I think you would be fantastic at that. And I think that I'd be willing to bet money that some of the people that are listening to you right now would probably be like, yeah, I would listen to that.
Well, if God moves me to do that, Jim, I will do that because I will do whatever God tells me to do. And that's what I've been doing for the past 12 years. That's why I am in 100% health. So so as long as I'm following that inward voice inside of me, because when my mask cracked, what I found was a beautiful soul. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, but this happened, but you are not what happened to you. Okay. That's the bottom line. I thought I was all that abuse. I thought I was all that craziness. I thought it was me. You know, it was what I was attracting because I thought it was me. Hello. So I got what as a man thinketh. Okay. So I had to think something different. Shit. So it's kind of like that. But I wasn't gonna let you be up here talking to air and you say, everybody, is this mic on? Is this mic on? I don't let people do that. If I'm passing by and I see that if this is their first conversation and they've never done this and they a little confused, I'm gonna pop on. I'm gonna help them out. If it's somebody on here talking to the room and is this mic? I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna talk to them because they want to talk. So, because I don't like people standing out there because it's like I'm in the rain. Somebody hand me an umbrella, and they're like, "Look, I ain't giving you my umbrella. I ain't handing you mine. No, I come and give you an umbrella, my brother."
I appreciate that.
Oh, I like talking to you, but you were so funny. I couldn't help but come on.
Well, thank
And
you.
I was like,
No,
I know they tired of hearing me today because I've been on the app all day and I'm thinking, okay, I know I'm relaxing and resting, but every few minutes, somebody will come on with something and gotta say, go say this. And I say it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get off of here. They no, come back up to the stage. And I'm like, tell me if somebody come because I'm going to leave because I do that thing what they call stick and move. But I don't want to monopolize all your time. But I just don't want you up here by yourself talking to the room when I don't know whether anybody else is in the room now. Just like you don't know if anybody else is in the room. I just wanted to show you somebody's in the room and I'm listening and I wanted to hear about the podcast and podcasting because I'm toying with the idea. And, you know, I'm going to get to I'm working on it. I'm learning Instagram because I didn't know anything about any of this stuff except Facebook because I post family pictures. But this Instagram and Twitter and oh my God, I don't know what else is out there. Some more stuff out there, but I'm just now learning and my daughter has been teaching me. So my next phase is to learn how to put words on the Instagram post that I snatched from other people. Okay. And then eventually I'm going to have the thing where I'm going to do my own stuff. But right now as I'm learning, I don't want to mess up my stuff while I'm learning. It doesn't matter if I mess up other stuff that's already out there while I'm learning. But yeah, so that may be down the line, Jim. I don't know. I'm just preparing myself.
Yeah. The social media thing is tricky. It's really weird because sometimes you catch with people and sometimes you just don't. I have some posts. I don't have like massive followers or anything like that. And I'm the same with you, though. Like kind of getting used to like, what do you do when you're on this thing? So,
Yes.
like with the podcast, it's easy because at least I can just say, okay, on today's episode, we will be speaking to this person, and I'll throw in some goofy joke,
Okay. All right.
stuff like that.
Well, like I said, I'm listening to you because I was trying to learn about podcasts, but nobody came up here to talk to you. So I guess that's why I came up here, because I wanted to learn about podcasts and podcasting and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I've been on 2 different people podcasts because they wanted to interview me, my life story and stuff, and I appreciate that, just to get my feet wet, so I kind of know how it goes. I still got one more podcast to do for somebody, and then I don't know what's next, because I only go by inspiration. I was told to do 3 podcasts, and then I'm getting my next instruction. So it's kind of like I'm Mission Impossible right now. I'm going by. I'm serious. I'm so serious. When I'm talking about flying by the seat of my pants, I'm going on faith, because I don't know what God wants me to do next. Because I told you I'm retired. I was happy retired, but I'm being told I got to come out. So first I'm learning Instagram, and I'll figure this stuff out. It's been. I'm gonna say this. Usually I don't find things to be difficult, and I don't say that word, but I'm gonna say this has been challenging, to say the least. Okay, I don't have no problem talking. No, that's not my issue. I don't have no problem telling my story. That's not the issue. But navigating the technological stuff that happens since 2008 is the last time I worked a real job. Okay, so and I don't live. I ain't poor or nothing like that. But a lot has changed on the internet since 2008. A
Absolutely.
whole lot. And I'm having to learn everything. Now, I got back on the computer after years of not being on the computer about 3 weeks ago. Oh, I got that. That came back to me like riding bike. But this I had never learned. So it's all new to me. And sometimes it's intimidating. So
Yeah.
I've been gleaning from listening to you, listening to Brittany, Oki or Doki or whatever her name is, that does all these things with the internet and Facebook and Twitter, and she's on every platform making millions of dollars according to her. So I just been listening, trying to figure out how's this go, and what type of microphone should you have, and how do I sound just talking on the telephone, or do I need to get all that set up that I see on TV? I mean, on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they look like they have a whole production studio in their room, And so like I said, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Well, there's an app that you can use. You can get it on your computer and on your phone, and it's called Anchor. And they will actually publish your podcast to like Apple Podcasts and Google and Spotify. They're actually owned by Spotify, so they do the distribution for you, and it doesn't cost
I'm
you
writing this
anything.
down. I'm writing this down.
Okay,
And you said
Anchor,
Anchor?
ANCHOR.FM. That's where you want to look.
Okay. All right.
And they're the only ones that I think are free. The other ones will charge you between $10 and $15 a month, but they may guarantee you a little bit more income. It's hard making money on podcasts. Anchor, you'll make some money, but you're not going to be rolling in dough. Most podcasts, you're not going to be rolling in dough. It's, that takes a lot of time, and sometimes just knowing the right people and, and catching it at the right time too. I think timing is a huge part of it. But if it's just something that you love and you want to, you want to help people. I mean, judging by like what you're saying here, that's important. And you can make a big splash if that's the road you want to pursue.
Well, that's the road that I've been pursuing for most of my career, and now, like I said, it is metamorphosized because I have learned so much more information since 2008 that is in all areas of subject matter, because I had to be a triadic in order to get healed. I had to try everything. I had to try all different healing modalities. And people like, triadic? Oh, what's she doing? All the drugs? No. But they've had me on the backpack of drugs when I was sick. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. But now it's no backpack of drugs or anything like that. Now it's just me. and taking some vitamins and herbs and you know, and doing the right thing so that my body can stay healthy.
Don't forget. No, she's coming back. I love this. This is great. I wonder who it could be. I
Guess
wonder who it could
who? No.
be. She's back.
I gotta start looking at this phone. I've done this all day. It's like, oops, I done got cut off again. No, but for me, it's like I had to try different healing modalities because the Western medicine didn't do it. My religious upbringing didn't do it. Nothing worked. So God had me try everything. So I call it triadicing. You know, I
Okay.
tried everything, and I love trying new things to see what works. Because I'm quite sure I know a lot, but I don't know half as much as I would like to know. But that's just me. I'm a learner. I'm a lifelong learner. My mother said I'll be in college at 90, and I wouldn't doubt it either. I'll be real, because I love learning. So, yeah. So yeah, I would like. I don't know what I want, and then that's the other thing. I don't know what I want to do
Okay.
because I thought I was doing what I want to do, retired. You know. So, but yeah, I'm here to learn just as much as I'm here to share my story. And if people learn from my story, great. If they don't learn from my story, at least they got some seeds planted so that when they get to one of them hard parts, they'll say, "Oh, that girl Loyce, that was the crazy lady on there that's always laughing and giggling. She said this, you know, because it might come back because I'll be channeled through your brain." Somebody told me, "Girl, I was doing this thing," and they said something, and I said, "What would Loyce do?" And I had to laugh. And we gonna get t-shirt. No, you ain't. You ain't gonna get what love do. Because Loyce only does what love does, okay? But yeah, I thought it was really, really funny. I thought it was funny. But yeah. But I'm here to learn just as much as I'm here to give and teach what I've learned. So, and like I said, I've been learning from you podcasters. I mean, there's so many podcasters on here that I just been listening to, trying to glean all this little bits of information from. But I think I need to actually get taught. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I actually need an instructor for some of this, only because I'm a hands-on learner. And I'm trying to learn vicariously by listening and this and that and the other. So eventually I'm just going to have to give up the ghost and go and pay somebody to teach me how to do what I need to learn how to do. That's what I did when I wanted to be a therapist. Okay.
Yeah.
Went to
Well,
school.
I mean, you're on the right track with learning. I mean, you can probably find out stuff from like YouTube videos and websites and such. There are actually there's a website actually that's run by a guy I know. His name is Dave Jackson, and it's called the School of Podcasting.
Wait,
And he
wait,
works
wait,
with
wait. I'm
people.
writing all this down. I told you I was here to learn. School of. You think I'm joking? Podcasting. Every time
Yeah,
you mention something, I wrote it down.
yeah.
Okay.
And Dave's been doing it for a while. He's a really great guy. Uh, if you create stuff, he can like work with you. He could critique, say like, okay, this is how you can fix this, and this is maybe not do this and do a little bit more of that. That's you know
Okay.
you've
Okay.
got the talking part down, which is I think it's half the battle, really.
Okay.
You
Well,
know, podcasting is about stories, really, and you can talk about yourself, and you can provide answers to people, and that is a huge weapon in your arsenal. So don't sell yourself short with that.
okay. I won't. Thank you. I appreciate that because look, look, I wasn't knowing. I'm being real. I wasn't knowing at all. Like, whoa, it seems so big. It's like back in the day they had this commercial with Rodney Allen Rippey in it, and he said the jumbo jack was too big to eat. That's how I've
Mm-hmm.
been feeling about this, learning all these platforms. So I decided I would bite one bite at a time. I can't eat that whole hamburger, but I can eat it one bite at a time. So that's why I started with Instagram and started posting other stuff that either people post or to things that meant something to me that helped me in my thought process that helped me grow. So I would post that stuff. But I'm learning. I'm learning, Jim. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
I have no doubt you will, Loyce. Listen, if there's anything I can do, you can email me, and it's Jim the Podcast Sherpa at gmail.com, all lowercase.
Okay,
Or you can reach out to me on
Go,
Facebook.
stop. You talk so fast, Jim.
Sorry.
I told you I was writing down stuff. Podcaster. No, wait, at Gmail.
Yeah, Jim the Podcast Sherpa at gmail.com.
Sherpa?
Sherpa, Sherpa.
Okay. All right. I sure will, because if I got some questions, I'm going to say, hey, Jim, you remember you told me on that Wisdom Talk to call you and write you and ask you a question?
I've helped somebody already, so it's not a problem.
Okay. All right. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna get ready to go. But I couldn't leave you standing there thinking you were talking to dead air. Okay.
Well, it seems like a lot of people have joined the room here, so we'll see if anybody's going to have the guts to come on here now. It's going to be a tough act to follow, Loyce.
Oh no! I'm probably tired of hearing it from me. I told you I've been on this thing all day because I've been in my rest and relaxation bubble bath, walking and doing mode, just chilling, taking pictures of flowers, and I mean, la, rainbows and unicorns, like my daughter said. So I know they're about tired. Loyce always on that damn stage. Okay, so Loyce gonna get her ass off. Okay, and I'm finna go in here and give me some dinner, and I'm gonna listen because I'm still learning.
Okay, you listen to me by the Babylon and hoping that somebody else comes on the mic.
Wait! If I come back and I got my food and you still saying hello, is anybody out there? I come in and I'll say, I'm knocking on your door. Okay. I'll talk to you later, Jim. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Loyce. Thank you. I love it. She's great. She was so much fun.
Be a rebel. Follow the show at Sherpalution on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And now it's time for Sherpa Samples. If you've got a podcast you'd like us to mention, just message us and you'll get your name mentioned on the show.
So it's time for Sherpa Samples, and for this edition of Sherpa Samples, we are sailing down the mighty Amazon music podcast app. And we are listening to a few podcasts that you hear exclusively on that app. So if you want to check out some of these podcasts and you've got Amazon going on, why not? They're nice to us. They help me promote Audible and all that stuff, and so I'll do something nice for them too. Oop, Alexa just beeped at me. Quiet, Alexa. Okay, so the first one I guess we should talk about is Baby, This is Keke Palmer. And Keke Palmer should have actually had her baby right now. And Keke was a former child actress, for those of you not living in the United States, and is on American television, usually on the game show Password, hosting it. And she's a lot of fun, very personable. And I heard an interview with her and actor Kenan Thompson. Now, Kenan is a cast member of Saturday Night Live, but when he was a child actor, also for the Kenan and Kel show. So they had a really fun interview, and it was definitely very engaging. She's a really wonderful host. I think it's something you might enjoy. I listened to quite a few true crime podcasts on the Amazon app, and they do have quite a few exclusive podcasts. Like this one, Killer Psych Daily, which is hosted by Candace DeLong, who I believe is a profiler, and she talks about a lot of the psychological makeup of a lot of killers in these true crime podcasts. The other three true crime podcasts that I checked out that were on Amazon, which are exclusive to them, are Suspect, Cold, and Anatomy of Murder. Wait, no, I don't think Anatomy of Murder is exclusive. But anyway, I heard those anyway, and very well enjoyable, very suspenseful podcast for those of you who like checking out true crime. So if you are downloading that app, check out any of those true crime podcasts, and I think you will definitely enjoy it. I listened to I Hear Fear, which is a collection of scary stories. Ooh, scary stories. And this one was really good too. It was really freaky. It was called Dance to the Death, by the way, if you want to check that one out. It's from October of 22. I was checking these things out pre-laryngitis. So it was a while ago when I was listening to them, but definitely, scary, spooky stuff. Woo. We also heard Five with Guy, which is a podcast hosted by Guy Raz, who also created the podcast called How I Built This. And in the interview that I heard, he talks with a writer and a comedian named Tim Heidecker. And Guy Raz is always very interesting. He gets down to the brains of the people behind these podcasts and creators. So he's always a good interviewer. And he's always got interesting guests on his show as well. Become is the daily unwind podcast that is exclusive to Amazon. And it's definitely one of those things you want to hear at the end of the day when you want to just wind down and relax your mind. And that podcast definitely does a good job of that. That is for absolute sure. Disgraceland is a podcast that was created by Jake Brennan. He's one of the big stars on Amazon Music podcasts, and you can understand why, especially when you listen to a show like this. They're music shows, but have a little bit of truth and a little bit of fiction in it, and a little bit of intrigue. And he's got this really interesting way of telling these stories. The episode I listened to was about Ringo Starr, and a lot of the stuff about him was true, and some of them were stories that I didn't know anything about Ringo. Oh, Ringo, what's the matter? What are you doing now? And I don't know where that came from. But yeah, he's got a little bit of a network with podcasts going that are usually very music themed. And Disgraceland was the first, and it's probably one of the best of his. So definitely a podcast that is worth being checked out. And finally, the last podcast that I checked out was the Joel Osteen podcast. And for those of you who don't know who Joel Osteen is he is a minister that has a Sunday morning show on American television. And of course, this podcast is filled with inspirational sermons, which kind of takes us full circles because a lot of those ladies today brought us some inspirational speeches as well. And you can check those out again on the Wisdom app. They're not paying me to say it. I just like doing it. You know why? Because I'm there too. Usually Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can talk to me. I talk about podcasts and podcasting, and I really get some interesting guests. It's definitely worth a listen. So if you got something to do and you want to download a free app, hang out, or maybe even become a speaker yourself, be a mentor, do what I say. Do it. So since we've come full circle, let's head into the outro. A very special thanks to all these ladies that I had the very distinct pleasure of speaking with on the Wisdom app. And you can download the Wisdom app. It's in your App Store or your Google Play Store or wherever you like to download apps on your telephone, your mobile phone, not the telephone, not the thing with the pushy buttons, or on your tablet. It's there, I promise. Again, free to listen. You can become a speaker if you want to and talk about various topics. I know there are some rules to be followed, but it's pretty easy. I mean, it kept me all this time, so it can't be that bad, right? Very enjoyable. Again, this was founded by Deo on Wisdom, if ever you see her in your chats. Super nice lady. Has a voice like she belongs on the BBC, trust me. So, what about this show? Yes, what about the show? You can hear it on any of your favorite podcast apps, just like the one you are listening to now. Or if you want to listen to me on Podimo, Podimo, or Podopolo, Podopolo. Those are free apps you can download. And guess what? For every follower and subscriber that the show gets, I get paid. And it doesn't cost you a plug nickel. I promise you. Nothing. Absolutely free, just like all the other podcast apps you've been listening to, or even if you've been listening for free on Sherpalution.com. It's the same thing. And speaking about listening for free and people getting paid, you know what? If you could do me a favor and leave me a nice review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to help spread the word about the Sherpalution, that would really, really help. And you know what? I've got something in the works to make somebody's day because I feel the need for a contest coming on once we get enough reviews on Apple Podcasts, and you guys can help make that happen. So a little bit more in the future about that, but consider leaving us a review. And maybe, just maybe, your name could be entered in this contest that I have in mind. Okay, Mr. Bruce, I've got the evil laugh going. We better get out of here. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. And until then, of course, Viva la Sherpalution.
Thanks for listening to Too Many Podcasts. Please disperse. You can go home now. I said you can go home now. Viva la Sherpalution. Viva la Sherpalution. Oh. Yell, come back now, you hear?